So I just wanted to review a couple of things, and I don't want to talk a lot. But for one, I just want to let you know that Indivisible, we have come out with an ICE education program, and we've got materials to work with our community, placards that they can put at their businesses, little cards they can attach that tell you what your rights are. So we are reaching out to the community to educate about that. And then I just learned in a meeting the other day that Malama Pono has disbanded. So we don't have access for people to have services anymore from Malama Pono. So I'm curious from the federal perspective of funding, of what other cuts are we going to see, or are you able to get us any more money for anything? And then the other thing is there were a lot of people who were upset about what the man in office, I don't even want to say his name, did with the meme of our former president, Barack Obama, and First Lady. And is there going to be any repercussions or pushback from our representatives that was a hate crime, and it's just completely unacceptable? And I wonder also, are you able to make any headway with any of the Republicans in Congress with all of the verbal things that are happening, or any of them finding a spine to speak up against this guy? And anything updated on no impeachment? And we appreciate you, and we thank you. And that's it, okay?
Okay, let's see. Where to start? No impeachment. I'll try to work the way back. No impeachment. We were in front of ICE headquarters last week. I'm losing track of my days. Last week, in very cold weather, again calling for her resignation or impeachment. Very early on, when the impeachment bill came on, I signed on to it because accountability starts at the top. And what this Department of Homeland Security was meant to be when it was created after 9/11, looking for those foreign threats that could harm our people and our communities, has since turned its eyes towards us, eyes towards Americans, and more importantly, eyes towards humans. These are human beings. And so calling for her resignation or impeachment is exactly, immediately, the most important thing that we can do right now. Because I don't care if you put masks on, I don't care if you have body cams, I don't care if you have trained. That is a bare minimum to me of what should be happening for every one of our officers. But that culture, that encouragement of what they are doing, what you're seeing, and what's being incited in the streets, it starts at the top. It starts at the very top, with kind of misinformation and lies that she's spread, with the way she's handled the department, the way she's handled the actions. And so I absolutely think that we can't stop in our call for her to resign or be impeached immediately. And in fact, if you take a look at polls, if you like polls across the country, Republicans are saying she should be removed. So it can't happen fast enough. In addition to every guardrail, guideline, string, everything we attach to any kind of funding that should go out, it needs to start with her leaving the department. So I absolutely agree on those things, and that's what we are pushing. Let's see, the normalization of racism. I mean, that's exactly what you saw with the media. To try and bring her staff that they sent it and didn't watch the whole 1-minute video, we all know that she lied, right? We know that is not what happened. And the only reason, well, he didn't even apologize, the only reason the racist video about the Obamas, in which the president was the Lion King, I guess, and the rest of us were animals. And worse, he made, President Obama and Michelle Obama apes, right? Primates. The only reason he even told them to take it down was because brave Republicans saw the absolute horror in that, the discrimination, the racism. You have to have them stand up to. We need to support and thank and surround them for having, the courage and the wisdom and the heart to say that this is not right. Both in the Senate and the House, we saw members standing up on the Republican side, absolutely calling for this to be taken down, finding it the most racist thing that they see. It's not that the Democrats can't be the ones to call out, because we will call it out time and time again, but we need to support and encourage and give space for brave Republicans to do the right thing too. And when they do that, stuff happens. Like things get pulled down. I mean, I'm never going to expect an apology from him, because that would be the civil, good, right thing to do. But pulling it down, It only happened, if you ask me, because Republicans stood up. So the more that we can, I know it's crazy, the more we can surround them and give them space to do the right thing, we need them to do it more and more, not just with a me, but with a bad bill and a bad funding and a bad secretary too. And so that's really what, when we go back and exam, I want to encourage that kind of space that we have to do. You also asked about Malamapono and funding, or funding cuts, and we're trying to restore every funding cut that there is. But this is death by 1,000 cuts often, right? It's saying what words you can use, the conditions you can use it, what things are funded for. In this case, please communicate with our office. If you're worried about your funding, if your funding is a little delayed, if it's frozen, all of these different things, or you hear about it, please call our office, because then we immediately put in a letter asking for the status, ask why it's not being released, when can we expect it. We will be dogged on your behalf, but you can absolutely bet we are fighting for more funding, not less. We're fighting to make sure you get the funding that you've been given and granted and deserve. And so any information you can provide as to what's been cut and how we can help to look at restoring, please let us know. Well, we know it's a very difficult time, and I do appreciate the fact that the state legislature, the counties, and our nonprofit partners have stepped up in many cases to try to, plug the pukas and the gaps that's been created by this administration. So I don't know if I got all of them, but I'm good for the answers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.